the impact of a prophetic word, it can actually be far-reaching and life-changing. And as I was learning how to prophesy, as I was learning how to develop my gift in the prophetic, I went and got my hair cut. Now, things often happen at the hairdresser for me. For whatever reason, God loves hairdressers. As I was learning how to prophesy, I would actually practice on people as I went about my day. This particular day, I was sitting down waiting for my haircut, and I was asking God, who would you like me to write a prophetic word for? I had a pen and paper ready just to practice what it was that I was doing. He highlighted a young man. This young man was outwardly very effeminate. He was very affected in his speech. He jingle-jangled with all sorts of jewellery. He had rings on. He had necklaces on. He had earrings. He had nose rings. He had nail polish, and he had a very effeminate way of dressing. Everything about him screamed, love me, accept me for who I am, accept my choices. And he really shoved who it was right down your throat. I can remember asking God, okay, so do you want me to say something to him about his lifestyle choices? And it was an interesting response that I actually had. God said to me very, very clearly and very firmly, that is none of your business. I will show you what I want you to say to him. And as I sat and I asked God about this young man, I started to see an internal picture in my imagination. What I saw was this beautiful young man dancing across the rooftops of all of these houses. It was like a Mary Poppins scene where he was dancing with an umbrella and singing, and he was just so full of joy, so full of joy. And as I saw this picture, I could feel the Father's heart for this young man. He adored him. It was like the parent looking at the child dancing and performing and saying, that's my boy. Can you see him? I adore him. Look at him go. Look at him go. Isn't he amazing? So I wrote down what it was that I saw. And then I went up to him and I said, look, I'm Christian. I'm learning how to hear from God for people. Would you mind if I actually shared with you what I feel I heard from God for you? And he stopped and he said, yeah, sure. So I pulled out the piece of paper and I told him what I saw. And as I told him what I saw, he started to cry. I started to cry as well. And I said, hey, can I please pray for you? And he said, yes, you absolutely. And so I put my hand on his shoulder and I prayed for him. I blessed him. And I told him the Father saw him, that the Father loved him, and that God adored him. This young man looked to me and said, I never thought he would even like me. I had no idea that God even cared about me. And he was very, very visibly moved. He looked at me and he said, can I please keep that piece of paper? I said, yeah, sure, of course you can. And he took it out the back and I sat down. I had to very quietly settle on my nerves, just try to go, all right, God, that was okay. So I was very, very nervous doing it. And what was really funny was that as I sat there, different hairdressers would come from out the back from where he actually had gone. And they would look at me and then they would go back out the back. And then someone else would come out and they would look at me and they would go back out the back. I had caused a stir because the God of the universe had actually impacted that one young man in his workplace. This young man, he felt seen, he felt loved, and he felt completely and utterly valued by God that he had not yet known, but who actually knew him.